Hey, what's up, Richland High School? Welcome back to another week. I'm super excited to be doing this video for you guys today. I haven't had an opportunity to do one of these in a few weeks because we've had some different things going on Mondays, and we didn't have school certain Mondays. So I'm really excited today to talk to you guys about one of our core values, which is service. Before I jump into that, I just want to take a second to kind of reflect a little bit on last week. We had Red Ribbon Week, we had Spirit Days every day, and I was so proud of the way you guys showed up last week. There was a day, I think we had about 650 of our 1,800 students dress up for whatever the Spirit Day was that day. I don't remember which day it was, but I was so proud of the participation, and I was so proud of the way you guys kind of rallied last week. Late in October, it can be hard to do that sometimes, and you guys showed up great. My favorite day so far this year was Friday. We had Halloween, and the admin team, we dressed up as Minga Points. We were walking around, and the amount of time I got to spend interacting with students on Friday was incredible. And to see you guys get excited about what we're doing, to see you guys talking about what it means to be a Raider and talking about our core values and finding out how much some of you have been paying attention or not throughout the year was a lot of fun. And I had so much fun just hanging out with you guys on Friday. So thank you for doing that. Made my old man heart happy, so I appreciate that. I am so proud to be your principal, and I'm so proud of what you guys are building here at Richland High School. And every time I interact with people from other campuses, from other schools that are traveling here for different games and sporting events, every time I do that, the feedback I get from them about how great our kids are and how great our staff is just blows me away. I'm humbled, and I'm so proud of you guys. So anyways, now that I'm done with that, let's talk about service for a second, right? So we have 7 core values. We've talked about that a little bit. Go through them really quickly again. Respect, accountability, integrity, determination, empathy, resilience, and service. Service, although it's the last one, is certainly not the least of those, right? Service is a really big deal, and a lot of times people talk about servant leadership, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit today. I think it is such an important value. I'm so glad that our students came up with that, right? That they wanted service to be one of the 7 core values. So when I talk about service, excuse me, and I've had a chance to talk about this with a lot of our teams and a lot of our student groups, I always talk about this idea of sweep the sheds. And so you may have heard me say that, you may have heard me talk about this before, but I still want you to tune in and really understand what it's about, right? So where does this idea of sweep the sheds come from? There's a book, it's called Legacy. It's written by a guy named James Kerr. It's my favorite leadership book, probably of all time. And the book is actually written about the New Zealand All Blacks, which is it's a rugby team, a professional rugby team in New Zealand. And the thing that's special about this group is they are the winningest sports organization in the history of organized sport. So it doesn't matter what the sport is, they've won more world championships than anybody else ever. And so this author, James Kerr, wanted to know what makes them so special, what makes them different than everybody else. And so he followed them around, right? He wanted to find out, was it in the way they train? Was it in the way they lift weights? Is it in the strategies that they use? Do they just have better coaching than everybody else? And what he found when he followed them around for a year is that it's not about any of those things that most people might assume. Instead, it was about I think he identified 14 different mantras or core values, behaviors, cultural pillars, if you will, that made them different and better than everyone else. And one of those is this idea, excuse me, guys, is this idea of sweep the sheds. And so when I say sheds, I just kind of want you to think locker room in your head, right? So here's the idea. When the game is over and everybody leaves the stadium, if you've ever been in a locker room, they can be pretty gross. But what happens for them is as everyone leaves the stadium, the team captains are the ones that clean the locker room. The team captains are the ones who make sure they leave it better than they found it. The team captains are the ones who make sure that it is up to the standard that they have set for their program. And when they do that, they don't do it because they have to. They choose to do it because it's symbolic, because it means to them and to everyone else, it means that no one is too important to serve. And that's the key in this whole deal, right? When they sweep the sheds, right, it shows humility. It shows pride. It shows ownership. It says we take care of the things and of the people who take care of us. It means that we leave this place better than we found it. It means that we serve because that's what champions do, right? So what does that look like here at Richland High School? I mean, it could look like picking up trash when you walk past something in the hallway, or you see somebody took a shot at a trash can and they missed and they left it there. You could be the one that picks it up, right? Or walking through the cafeteria, you see some trash on a table or something and just grabbing that and throwing it away, because not because you have to, but because you want to take pride in your space, right? We're the nicest high school in America. Let's keep it that way, right? It could look like that, right? It could look like helping a teacher move desks in their classroom. It could look like holding a door open for somebody because their hands are full, or better yet, helping them carry the thing that they need help with, right? It could look any number of ways, right? Excuse me. But it's not so much about cleaning, right, or picking up trash, as it is about like a way of being, right? It's really about being the kind of person who's willing to do those things, right? It's about seeing a need and solving a problem, right? So we talk a lot here at Richland about building champions. And when we say that, we're not talking about, and I've told you guys this repeatedly, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's what we believe. It's not about what happens underneath the Friday Night Lights, or what happens on your report card or on your transcript. Those things are all important, right? But it's about being people who see a need and fill it. It's about serving others because it's what real leaders do, right? Because it's what champions do, not because we have to. It doesn't work if you do it just because it's something you have to do, right? So I want to challenge you guys this week to look for opportunities to serve people, right? Like, be a sweep the sheds kind of person. Be someone who sees a need and solves a problem, not someone who's just really good. Everybody's really good at pointing out problems, right? Be someone who's really good at solving problems. Be someone who's really good at taking care of other people. Be someone who has the humility to do things that other people aren't necessarily willing to do. That's a huge deal, right? So I have 3 questions that I would love for you guys to discuss in your classroom right now with your teachers. First one is, sweep the sheds isn't really about cleaning, right? So what does that represent here at Richland High School? So just kind of think back to what I've just talked about in the last few minutes, right? Second question, what are some of the things that you can do, right? What are those shed sweeping, not sweat sheeping? What are some of those shed sweeping actions or behaviors that we can take here, right? Small, humble acts that show service, that show pride in what we have, right? In our classrooms, in our hallways, on our teams, in our organizations, right? And then the last question I have is, why do great leaders serve, right? Why do people talk so much about servant leadership? When you talk about leadership, that's the thing that comes up most often, right? So why is that? What do you think about that? So have a great conversation with your class. I hope that this makes sense to you. I hope you understand why this value of service is so important. And then later, when we talk about service again, I want to talk about ways that we can serve outside of our school, right? So we're coming to that eventually. But right now, I just want to talk about this like way of being and how we can make that show up every single day. Because once we get that locked down and we get really, really good at being humble people who are willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do, then we can talk about going out and serving in big ways outside of our school. So appreciate you guys. Hope you have an amazing week this week. Let's ride.